Hello YouTube, this is the Florida Rider, racing to the beach for sunset again. Got plenty of time, so I don't have to go too fast. Let's just hope there's not too much traffic. So I'm going to continue on right now with the next part of Ask Me Anything. And by the way, you're still welcome to ask questions. The thread is still open, and I'll put a link to it in the comments. Okay, this next question comes to us from the north, from a Reaper of Iron, known as the Iron Reaper. And he said, why did you choose the bike that you ride, and what's your favorite thing about it? What's the worst thing? First of all, my bike is a Honda NC700X, for those who might not know. And I picked it because I wanted a good all-round bike. And that's exactly what I got, a good all-round bike. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to a recent, stay over there, a recent review I've done on it. Ooh, sunset, looky. And I will say that this bike has not disappointed me in the least. My favorite thing about it I guess is the exact reason I bought it. It does everything I want it to do. I can ride quickly, well, by my standards, quickly. I can ride long distances on it, no problem. I can take a quick run to the supermarket on it. It's just a good all-round bike, and that is the very best thing about it, Mr. Iron Reaper. The worst thing about it? Oh, I know what it is. Passing power. Yes, you see, this bike is geared like a cruiser. And so, if I'm in sixth, I don't have enough passing power sometimes if I'm on the highway going legal speeds, of course. You know, like if I'm at 70 and I want to pass somebody doing 70, then I've got to drop a gear and I've got to give it a lot more on the throttle than I think that I really should. Very good question, Mr. Iron Reaper. So, Iron Reaper, I'll ask you the same thing about your bike. Why did you buy the bike that you have? What's the best thing about it? And what's the worst thing about it? And we'll move on to the next question when we get around the roundabout. Okay, the next question comes from Light It Up 550. And by the way, if you don't follow his channel, you really should. What's the longest distance you have gone at one time? And I clarified that to make sure he meant in one day. And he did. So I'm going to say from the Anaheim area of California to San Francisco when I was younger. It would probably be 1985 or 6, and I will Google when I get home to find out how far that is exactly. I believe it's about 450 miles. Actually, now that I think about it, when we went up to San Francisco, we took the PCH, or Pacific Coast Highway, up the coast over the course of a couple days and made a bunch of stops along the way, like Solvang, just like that. So that wouldn't be the longest. I think the longest that I've gone on one trip would be back from San Francisco to Anaheim. And it was a long trip because we came back on the highway. So it was mostly highway driving, and this is long before Sennas were even thought of. But it was me and I believe it was 3 friends. Let's see. Butch, Greg, and Keith. and we decided that we'd take a bike trip together and planned it out and rode all over the coastal part of California, and it was a really good time. Okay, the next question is from Triumph Ant, or Triumphant, however he wants to say it. Are you planning on taking any multi-day bike trips? Where would you go if you did? Well, Mr. Triumphant, until a couple days ago, the answer was no. But now the answer is maybe. I found something that I might want to do down in Fort Myers, and if I do, I'll sort of do a weekend away type of thing and go down on a Friday and come back on a Saturday. And while technically 2 isn't really multi, there's a little bit more than that. You see, thanks to people like yourself, Mr. Triumphant, I've gotten the multi-day bike trip itch, and now I'm dying to go someplace. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it happen, because the only thing I really have planned for the rest of the year is my staycation, like I had last August. And now my staycation is looking like it might be a little bit less stay and a little bit more cation. Not quite sure exactly where yet. I do know that work is trying to send me to Miami in August. So I'm starting to think that perhaps I'll take the bike down and work my way back for the first part of my staycation. Not quite sure if I can get that time off from my full-time job though. But I'm going to give it a shot, I think. And of course it'll depend on the budget. If the budget doesn't allow, then Miami will be just a down and up trip in the car like it has been for the rest of the year. But if the budget allows, then it might be a little bit more than that. So, I don't know, that itch is there. I want to travel. I love to travel. I love my motorcycle, I love riding. I want to travel on my bike. So it's a very good question, Mr. Triumphant. Thank you very much for asking it. Okay, let's wait till after the roundabout again. And we'll see if we can get one more knocked out. I'm actually on my way to meet my Harley friend right now. And then we're going to go off for a ride someplace. Oi, Dirk. So everybody has a favorite road or ride where they live. What's your favorite ride? Well, Mr. Oi, Dirk, you're looking at it. The beach road. And actually, this is called Gulf Avenue Boulevard Street. Lord knows what it is, Gulfview Boulevard, that's what it is. And this is my favorite ride, because it takes me out over like a, what do you call it? An inlet that connects the Gulf and the Intercoastal Waterway. It'll also take me along the beach. And that's where I want to be, along the beach. Boy, that was an easy one, Oi Dirk. Thank you. Let's see if we can knock out another one very quickly.